Hi everybody, it's Patty, Rockstar Mom, and welcome back to my channel. Before I get into the meat and bones of this video today, I wanted to take a minute and recognize one of our sister content creators. Many of you know, some I'm sure don't know, that Colleen from Miss Cavalier's husband died unexpectedly a few nights ago. Such a shock to me and many, many others. I was trying to remember Colleen's story about meeting Wendell and marrying him. And I truly, if I remember correctly, my story and Colleen's story are very similar. We had been single. We'd been out on our own, and we met someone. And I think for many of us, by the time we get to this stage in our lives, we feel really good about what we're looking for in a mate, hopefully to be with for the rest of our lives. But we also, I think there is maybe a connection there with our spouses that we probably could have never had when we were much younger and married. So this week has been especially hard for me because Colleen has just been on my mind constantly, and my heart goes out to you, Colleen, if you happen to see this. My heart goes out to you. My heart hurts for you in a very, very special way. So I hope that all of us will keep Colleen and her family and Wendell's family in their thoughts and prayers. We love you, Colleen. Okay, questions and answers. Stay tuned. I have my computer in front of me, and I'm going to sort of go down. I read these questions back when you were leaving them about 3 weeks ago, but I've really not thought too much about them. So I'm going to read through, and many times one of you will write a little paragraph and then you put your question at the very end. So I'm going to have to I'm not going to read all of that. I'm only going to address the questions. The first person really did not have a question. Then we come to Kathy Scott. Hi, Kathy. And by the way, I'm just reading these as they appear. Kathy said, you mentioned a while back you might share some of your story about meeting Jim. I'd truly love to hear, as I think finding love at any age is a wonderful thing. Well, thank you, Kat. I'm not going to answer it today, Kat, and I'm going to tell you why. I have been very, very, very close to filming that video for the past couple of weeks. That question is one of the 2 most requested videos since I started my channel around 5 years ago. So I was going to go ahead and film that video. Jim and I are coming upon our 6th wedding anniversary in May. And I thought, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to film that video. And then a jewelry company contacted me just within the last couple of weeks. Some of you know that I had, I don't even have a ring on today, but some of you know that I had purchased some travel jewelry to wear when we travel costume jewelry, pretty costume jewelry. And part of that jewelry was a wedding band or a new set to wear as a wedding set. And this company contacted me. Evidently, someone saw the videos that I've done on that and offered to send me some wedding jewelry or a wedding ring or a wedding set in return for a video, just to show it in a video. No payment, no nothing. I would just receive the jewelry. If I would also tell my story about how I met Jim. So I said, what a deal. Yes, I'm going to do it. And the jewelry, as we speak, should be on its way to me. It's a one ring. And they let me pick out what I wanted. And from what I can tell, I think it's going to be beautiful. I can't wait to receive it. I can't wait to show you, and I can't wait to do that video because it's been weighing on my mind now for a long, long time. So you'll be seeing that soon, I think. This is from Elle. Elle is for living. Hi, Elle. I think Elle is the only person I know who travels more than we travel. She says, my question for you, do you plan on getting another dog? Probably not anytime soon. Bagel was 14 years old when she died, and that was, again, will be a year ago in May, this coming May. And Bagel had always been very, very healthy, a little fun, active dog. For those of you who don't know, she was a little long-haired dachshund. And we found out about a year before she died that she was very sick, very, very sick. And we knew that what was wrong with her would kill her eventually. In Arkansas, we had a lady who kept her in her home and who absolutely adored Bagel, and we knew she took real good care of her because Bagel never minded staying with her. We could take her to Lynn's house and, you know, it was like, oh fun, y'all just go on, do what you need to do. I'll see you when you get back. That was sort of her nonchalant attitude about it. And when we moved down here to Florida, we had to find a place to board Bagel. And I checked out a lot of places, and found a couple that I thought we could trust. They had great recommendations. We liked the facilities, and that's where we left Bagel. And she didn't like it. She hated it, obviously. So we only had to do that a couple of times, but when we realized how sick she was that summer, we made the choice not to travel anymore unless we could take her with us in the car, because she was very good in her crate in the car. And so we took a couple of small trips, weekend type things, and took her with us. But we decided not to take any big trips that would entail her having to be boarded. And for that whole year, I pretty much held Bagel in my life. We decided that we wanted to, if we could, make this the best year of her life. And that little girl had so much love and so much petting and so many treats and loving. We held her and we talked to her and we loved her for just as much as we could for almost a year. And then when she died, we started traveling again. And as a matter of fact, I can tell you because I can see it over here, straight across the front of our condo, for those of you who've not seen a video of this condo, we have French doors across the front of the condo, and one particular door, because Bagel was so small, she was only 8 to 9 pounds, the window panes on the very bottom of this one particular door is where she stood all the time and looked out. And one day I realized after she was gone that those panes, and there's 3 of them in that particular door across the bottom, and all 3 of them are covered, literally covered in little nose smudges. And when Jim came home from playing golf that day, I showed them to him. And I told him, I said, whatever you do, if you're cleaning windows outside, if you get a wild hair and you want to clean windows inside, do not touch those 3 bottom panes. When I glance over, I can see them. And it just gives me a good feeling to think about Bagel. And so we made the decision that those will never be cleaned. We're going to leave them just like they are. And that's our constant reminder of Bagel. We really don't need one, but it's a good, sweet, constant reminder of Bagel. All those little sweet nose smudges on the glass panes. Okay, so to answer your question, Elle, probably not. Probably not. We have a couple of neighbors who have sweet little dogs, and I think you've done this, and I think this is what we're going to do. We're just going to talk to them and see if they will let us keep their dogs when they travel, and that maybe that will give us our puppy fix. Mary Ellen after 60 is next. Hi, Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen says, my question would be, what was your life like as a child/teenager? Siblings? Where you grew up? All right, well, I was born and raised in the Memphis, Tennessee area. I was the oldest of 4. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. The brother let's just put it this way. He was unexpected. I was a senior in high school when he was born. So, what was my life like as a child and a teenager? I have very few memories of being a child. I have a few, but just a very few. I had some things happen to me when I was a child, and I never talked about it, and it was just the era, let me put it that way. You didn't talk about things like that, and I found ways to deal with it, and the main way I found to deal with it was I put it out of my mind. I just forgot it, I blocked it. So I have very few memories. I am fine, I am great today. Everything is super cool. Teenage years, I did all the teenage things, all the teenage things. Went to the prom, with my secret boyfriend, happened to ask me. He didn't know that I liked him, but you know what? He asked me to the prom. Never amounted to anything. This is funny how these questions are coming. Susan, little poet. My question to you was, what was your favorite decade and why? That's easy, Susan. It would be today. It would be right where I'm living today, this decade of my life. And the reason for that is I have just, everything that's happened to me, both good and bad. And trust me when I tell you, I've had some bad things, not just as a child, but as an adult also. I've had some bad things, some not so good things, but I've had some wonderful things that happened to me. I have made some horrible decisions about my life, and I have made some wonderful decisions, about my life. And all of those decisions, all of those choices led me to right where I am today. And so, I don't think any of them, there wasn't a decade where I wasn't making good choices and bad choices. But all those choices that I made then has gotten me right to where I am today. And I love, love, love my life today. Okay, Georgiana Alfonson, she asked about meeting Jim too. I love your story on how you found love later in life. Would like to see the story of how you met your husband. That's coming real soon. Real soon. As a matter of fact, I will try to film that just as soon as I get that ring in. I'm going on down. There are lots of just comments. Audra Hollis, she doesn't necessarily ask a question, but she addresses something that I will answer for you. And it's not here today. She talks about the pink and the blue throws, that one of them is usually on the back of this chair. And those came from TJ Maxx, both of them. But, you know, I've had them maybe a year. So I don't know if they're still available, but that's where they came from. Brenda V. What's the best thing about getting older, and what is the worst thing about getting older? Brenda, the worst thing about getting older is the outwardly physical things. The wrinkling and the sagging skin and gaining weight away through my middle, which is very typical of most of the majority of us when we really start to age. And again, I've said this in other videos, this really didn't hit me until I was about 65. And then it was almost overnight for me, especially with the sagging skin and the wrinkling. I went to bed one night thinking I looked pretty good. I looked, you know, for my age, and woke up the next day and looked in the mirror and it was totally different. I had to rethink that. But until I reached 65, I had a great body. I could have worn all of these little tight, slinky, spandexy dresses and tops that all of the younger women are wearing. That was the figure I had. I could do it. And it was like I just started spreading. And I had already been through menopause, and, you know, but that's when it hit me. Honestly, I had sort of laughed at aging prior to that, because I thought, this is a piece of cake, you know. I've made it this far and I look like this. I'm okay. I'm okay. So it's the worst part is just the physical stuff. And in the last 7 or 8 years, I have truly changed my feeling about the character on my face. I think my lines and my under eyes and my saggy skin, my neck, I'm just accepting it, because you know what? It shows who I am. It truly shows who I am. I am very, very comfortable in my skin, and I've said this before, but for those of you who have not heard me say it, I have had no work done whatsoever. I've had no fillers, no Botox, no procedures, nothing. I get facials from time to time, and that's pretty much it. So I am finally, I think, to where I know that I probably will never do anything, because I really like the character in my face. Now, what is the best thing about getting older? Well, Brenda, it's because I know what I know. I think when I was younger, I knew a lot, but I didn't know what I do. I was exposed to a lot of things. I had lots of opportunities to make decisions one way or the other, but I didn't know what I didn't know. I really do like the person I've become. I'm still getting there. I'm not there yet. I'm thinking it's probably going to take me about another 30 years to really totally get there, but I'm getting there. Ginger Tunstall. I thought I'd been watching your channel for quite a while, but I realized that I do not know the origin of Rockstar Mom, so I would love to ask as my question to you. Thank you, Ginger. I am not going to answer that question because, again, it's a long story, and I have done a video on it, Ginger, so I'm going to link that video down below. In fact, I think I talked about it in 2 videos, so I'll list, if there are 2, I'll list both of them in the description bar. Ooh, Connie, and Connie, no last name, Connie. Uh, if you could meet anyone for dinner, who would it be? Oh, wow, Connie. That's a thought provoker, but it's easy. Uh, Probably many years ago, I'd say 30. I'd have to go back and look. 30, 40, maybe longer than 30. One night I was watching Johnny Carson, and as a guest on the Johnny Carson show that night was Wayne Dyer. And Wayne had just written his first book called Your Erroneous Sons. And he was on Johnny Carson promoting it. I'd never heard of him, hadn't heard of the book, but I was immediately glued to listening to how he described that book. I thought, wow. I went to sleep. I got up the next morning, and that was the first thing I did. I went to the bookstore, and I purchased that book, and I read it cover to cover. I've read it many times. Since then, Wayne has written, I don't know, many books. He's lectured for PBS. He does lectures. He was just sort of everywhere. But through first being exposed to Wayne on Johnny Carson and buying that book, I've read many other authors who write along the same lines of that. And I know that night watching Wayne on Johnny Carson changed my life forever. It was at that moment, seeing him on that show that night and reading that first book and all of his books since, has gotten me to the point of who I am today. So if I could meet anyone for dinner, have dinner with him, it would be Wayne. It would be impossible, because about a year ago Wayne died, maybe a little over a year ago Wayne died. So that would never happen, but he would be the one person I would love to meet and love to just sit down and talk to and pick his brain and ask him questions. I'd have a million questions. But more than that, I would tell him, I would be very vocal in how he changed my life. Or he didn't change my life, I changed my life. But it was because of him that I started the change what I did. Okay, this is from Connie Goon, and I'm going to answer, although Connie doesn't have a question, I'm going to read her comment because it's something that I firmly believe in. Patty, I respect you so much. I found this video so informative. By the way, I talked about YouTube on the video. I've thought many times about starting my own, but I thought it can't be as easy as sitting in front of a camera and just talking. It has to be more, and obviously it is. I will say that as a result of your information, my thought pattern about my content has shifted a tad. I look forward to your next video. And anytime someone tells me that they are interested in starting their own channel, I always encourage them to do it. There is room on YouTube for each and every one of us. I think that we each have a story to tell, and I think that all of our stories are different. Some may be sort of similar. I think what brings us all here to YouTube is our absolute love of makeup and skincare and all things beauty related. I think that's the common denominator probably. But I think from that common denominator, we can go out in so many directions and not just be cookie cutters of one particular content creator, but I think it's important for us to develop our own style. And I think when we become our true, authentic selves and we're not trying to be someone else on here, that's when our channel grows. That's when like-minded people are attracted to us. They'll seek us out, trust me. I totally believe that. When I first started my channel, I've said this before, it wasn't because I thought I knew everything there was to know about skincare and makeup. It was because I couldn't find someone my age. And I actually doing videos here on YouTube. And I thought, if I am this age, in my late 60s, and I'm looking for people who are like-minded and my age, there has to be others. There just have to be others. And boy, did I find out there were. In the beginning, when I started my channel, I thought for just a tiny little minute that I would lie about my age. I had never lied about my age, but I thought, I don't think people are going to watch if they know how old I really am. But I made the decision that I had to be totally upfront and honest about my age and about the fact that I'd never had any work done. Facelifts were, a lot of women were having facelifts, and they had for many, many years if they could afford them. I had not. The Botox was really coming on strong at that point in time, and I had not had Botox. Fillers were just barely coming on. I had not had fillers. I made the decision to be upfront about my age and what I had done, and I think that had a lot to do with my channel sort of catching on, because I was totally honest about that. So Connie and anyone else out there, if you have any thoughts, if it's just buried somewhere deep inside and you thought, I think I'd like to do that, do it. There are tons of videos here on YouTube that will tell you how to start a channel, how to film, how to light, how to make money, how to do anything you need to do with your channel, how to edit, everything. It's here on YouTube. All you have to do is Google it. You'll find it. So, and I encourage it. And let me know when you do it. Thank you, Connie. Okay, next question is from Glitzy Fritzy. Hi, Mary. Patty, first my question, and this is so stupid, but over time I watch you and I wonder LOL, did you ever watch the TV show Revenge? And is that where your chair with the writing on it is inspired from? I love that chair. Where did you get it? Okay, now that's two questions. This chair, I've never seen Revenge. I'm not familiar with that show at all. So no, I did not see that chair. But this chair, in fact, we have two. There's one sitting across from me that Jim sits in all the time. And I bought these chairs when we bought this condo about 5 years ago. When I furnished it, I wanted something that was a little bit different. I didn't want the typical beachy condo that we had always rented when we would rent a condo down here that was just super bitchy. I didn't want that, but I wanted it to be light and airy and not heavy. And we had all the leather furniture at that house in Arkansas, so I didn't want anything like that. But I found the sofa and the two chairs. I want to say we bought all three of these at Hank's Fine Furniture, of all places. We bought the sofa first. And this is, many of you have seen this sofa. This is a pillow off of the sofa. It's this sort of a dark gray, charcoaly, brownish color and the cream color stripe. And so I was looking for something that I thought would go with it, that wouldn't be heavy, but that would hold its own. And later on, I saw these chairs. And actually, these chairs are lane recliners. They're small chairs. They're small recliners. When I found them, I had Jim go sit in one to see if if he could fit in it, number one, but number two, if it was comfortable, because I knew we would be sitting in these chairs 99.9% of the time. And I wanted to make sure it was something he was comfortable with, and he liked it really well. So I bought these. Now, he never uses his as a recliner. He says that the footrest is not long enough for him, and his feet dangle over, and he doesn't like that feeling. So he always sits up in his. From time to time, I do recline mine when we're watching TV. But that's what these are, and they were very, very inexpensive. I want to say they were under $200 each for sure. And I did, a few months after we bought these, I saw them at TJ Maxx. I doubt if I know they're not at my TJ Maxx anymore, but you might go on TJ Maxx's website if you're really interested in them. They're not expensive chairs. And as a matter of fact, the armrests they've gotten so dirty, and I have, because just the lotion from your hands and your body. I have, a few months ago I tried cleaning, and they didn't clean real well, so these may have to be replaced or recovered. I may have them recovered, but that's where these came from. Oh, and it's something that's interesting, and I was just thinking this yesterday. I was watching The Beauty Junkie, and I have not been subscribed to her channel, but just for a few months. I don't know where I've been, but I found her, and for the first time yesterday, she was sitting in a chair for her video, and I thought, this must be a new thing, because I've been sitting in this chair now for months to record most of my videos, and I am starting to notice people that I subscribe to are starting to sit in chairs to record. And I think that's pretty neat, because unless you're doing makeup application or something like that, it's a fun way to sit and talk to you. And I think it's more personal, and it's like we're sitting across from each other talking. So maybe I've started a trend here on YouTube, who knows? And I think the reason I started doing this, I know this for a fact, when I first started watching video, I watched someone who is no longer on YouTube, and she was sitting in a window seat in her home. And actually, I think it was a book review. It was someone that I was watching who did a book review, and I've never forgotten that, how I felt connected to her because of where she was sitting. It was comfortable. I truly felt like I was talking to her, or she was talking to me. Okay, I think I'm going to do this question because this is getting long. I'm going to do this question, and then I know I have a lot more, and we'll do another video hopefully soon, and I'll re-record. Or I'll do another video when I have some time and answer the rest of these questions. This is from SC Sweet Tea. Oops. Hi, Judy. My question for your Q&A. Who was the first YouTuber you began watching, and who do you miss from the content creators? For me, the answer is Donna Shorts in Atlanta, Indiana, and now Jerry Black. So sad when we lose one of these great ladies, but I can only imagine how hard it would be to keep up a channel. Yes, it is hard. When I first found YouTube, seriously, and I was looking for people who were mature, who claimed to be mature, I really couldn't find anybody, and I was putting every word imaginable in that search engine. I might find the word mature, but I would realize it was someone in her 40s or someone in her 50s, and at that point, when I was their age, I still looked like they did. My gosh, at 68, I couldn't relate to that anymore. So, but I think the very first person that I came across And it wasn't so much of him, it was because of the person he was making over, and that was Wayne Goss. And those early videos when Wayne was doing Mandy's makeup are still some of my favorite videos of all time. They had such chemistry, and they were funny, and you know, he just slapped her around and started from scratch and was sort of rough on her at times and applying the makeup, but she always looked wonderful when he was through with her. And so probably Wayne Goss was the very first person that I subscribed to. I found a couple of other people, and I'm just at a total blank as to who they were, their names. I should go back and look, but I found a couple of other people who not long after that stopped making videos. But I did find Lana, Indiana, and like many of us, I immediately fell in love with Lana because Lana and I could be sisters, you know, from another mother maybe, or sisters separated at birth, because even though I'm probably 10 years, 15 years older than Lana, we both were, she was a flight attendant, I was a stewardess, long blonde hair, lots of makeup. I just related to Lana, and Lana was so funny. She was so very funny, so funny. I'm not convinced that Lana will not come back with videos. I'm not convinced at all. I think she will. With Lana's husband dying, I think Lana's still trying to find her place. And I think we'll see Lana again. I sure hope so. I did not find Donna Shorts until maybe a year or so before she stopped making videos. And I think Donna and I were so different in our appearance, as fair and blonde and blue-eyed as I am. Donna was just the opposite. But I loved Donna's editing. As much as what Donna talked about, I loved her editing. I loved that Donna's videos told stories. I was pulled into Donna's videos. And at the time, of all the people I watched on YouTube and subscribed to, she was the only person who filmed that way. And I was just drawn to her, and it just mesmerized. And I will tell you, if you go over to her channel, it's still there, but all of her videos have been taken down. And that makes me sad, because I would still go back from time to time and rewatch some of Donna's videos. I miss her. So those for sure. Teresa, Beauty for Every Day, I believe was the name of her channel. Teresa started maybe just a little bit before I did, and had a really good following, really fast, and because of, I think, some family issues, dynamics, she stopped making videos. But I love Teresa. She lived in East Tennessee. I loved her. She reminds me a whole lot of Melissa 55, Southern Girls. Who else? Oh, Natalie 075 in Kansas City. I mean, Natalie and I started about the same time. And every once in a while, Natalie will release a video. So I would love to see Natalie come back and post videos on a regular or fairly regular basis. Hey, any of these, I would take them anytime they could put a video up, I would watch. And I know many of you would too. Okay, I'm going to stop right there with this, because I don't want this to drag on forever. But I want to thank each and every one of you who left me a question, and all of your wonderful comments. What's funny on this video is when I was starting to read the comments and reply back to you, I forgot that I had asked you for questions, And I get so many questions under normal videos when I don't ask for questions and answers that without thinking, I was just typing in the answer. And then about halfway through, I thought, wait a minute, I should be answering these in a video. That's what I said I was going to do. So I sort of stopped that. But it was funny because I'm so used to answering your questions when I reply to you that I was doing it automatically. But I do want to thank you for these specific questions, and hopefully I gave you some good answers, and I gave you links to a channel or two below if you're interested in seeing the answers to those questions. Know that I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, you know how to do it. Also, I'm supposed to say, don't forget to click on the bell if you haven't done that. Also, I should tell you, if you haven't done it, click on the little bell where you'll be alerted when I do post a video. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for sharing my videos. I appreciate you. I love you. Don't forget to go out and be kind today. Be kind. And I'll see you soon.